Hi everyone, it's Niamh here and welcome to my art journaling channel. Today we're going to be making some abstract artist trading cards that I created for a swap with a good arty friend I met this time last year in Melbourne. So we've been doing this swap for a year now nearly, and we chose to use playing cards as our base for our artist trading cards. Playing cards, while they're a great size, easily done and durable, have a really slick surface, so they can be really hard to apply paint to. So one of my tricks to doing that is to apply some sort of collage in the background. And the quickest way I found is just to get some book paper or something and run it through the Xyron machine, which turns everything into a sticker, and stick it onto the front of my playing card. I just find it's a really easy way to do a lot of these at once. And I'd fallen a little bit behind in my challenge, so I decided I was going to do 6 at once. I find when I'm working on artist trading cards too, just working on a smaller bit of paper and not on my glass surface helps, because again the back's slippy, so it tends to slip around my glass a little bit when I'm working on them. So I find just having something that will hold them in place is really handy. So the challenge was for this one, was to do abstract art on your artist trading cards, kind of in the style of Tiffany, Southern Girl Designs, who's on Instagram and YouTube. She does all these funky little quirky collages using beautiful tiny little bits of ephemera, and she's just so free with what she does. So that's what I was trying to channel, and I was using my favorite color combination of turquoise and red, or sort of that sky blue and red, using my Stabilo oil pencil to draw into the wet paint, and I'm doing them all at once. And I find that a lot easier when I'm doing something like this, or I'm card making, is to do everything at once, sort of production line style. You can see already that they're all different, but you know, if I put the paint on one, scrape paint on it, and then I get the page out and then I do something else, it's just easier sort of to do it all at one time. So now I'm just going in with some little bits of collage, and usually when I collage I'm quite heavy-handed with it in the fact that I use quite large chunks of it. So I was trying really hard to use tiny little scraps. So taking out words from the vintage newspaper, or a tiny little bit of the music, and so on. On this page I'm using the transparent wings from Tim Holtz's wing set, and doubling them up. One of the things I found with doing this was it was really hard to sort of stay restrained. I also need to get some neon paints onto it because it's me, and neon makes everything better, particularly on that turquoise. It just made everything sing, not so much on the red ones. And as I was going along, I was kind of finding that they had their own little themes themselves. One of the other things that Tiffany tends to do in her collages or on her art journal pages is to use the tiny attacher, the little stapler. So much so that she inspired me to buy one, and I've never really used it, so I was determined that I was going to use it on these little trading cards in some way, shape or form. Sorry, I'm pretty sure I said that wrong, but there you go. Anyway, mind blank. As I was going along, you can see I've now rearranged my pieces into the colour schemes that I have. So I've got those turquoisey, pinky ones down the bottom, and I've got the reddy ones up the top. And I found by doing that I was making life a little bit easier for myself. With the butterfly one, I found in the little bit of dictionary that I had that it said wings on it, so I put the wings on it, and I left that off to the side onto the glass because that in my mind was nearly finished or finished. So I thought if I sort of had bits I was working on and the ones that I needed to work on, it would help me out. It was a little bit of a process. It didn't take long to do, but it made me think a lot as I was doing it. There was a lot of a lot of this was done very intentionally, even if it sort of doesn't look like it. So I got some turquoise acrylic ink, and I want to have that drip down one of them, again sort of to tie in those colours. And I was just trying out different stuff. I really didn't have much of a plan of how this was working. It was just trying to limit myself to grabbing collage materials that I had close by. So I've got a little pull-out set of drawers next to me that has little haberdashery ephemera bits and pieces. So it had this little scrap of lace in there. So I put some of that down, again trying to mix up the different mediums and textures on the page. And because I had a little bit left, I thought I'd stick it onto another page. You know, again, not necessarily trying to replicate it, but use up the tiny scraps that I had, so I wasn't wasting anything. And because I had it out and it worked on one page, it should work on the other one. So that's where I was going with it. When I put that on, then I found this little bird. I've used the tiny attacher once it spat its staples at me, and I've reloaded them to attach that to the page. And I had that little bit of stick as well, so I thought I could have my bird on the stick. So once I kind of got a focal image that had a point to it, I suppose, which sounds a bit strange, I then was able to complete the page really quickly. For example, I had the dictionary page that had wings on it, so I immediately thought of wings. I thought of transparent words, so that was that page. That was that artist trading card finished. I had this bird. I came across the bird. Once I had the bird, I had the stick for it to sit on. Then I had these stickers that had build your wings. That worked out. So that page is that trading card was finished. So you sort of luck across things that you think, oh yeah, now I know where I'm going with that. It seems a little bit aimless beforehand, and then suddenly it all comes together. So I'm not sure if anyone else creates like that or if it's just me. Yeah, you sort of just, things just happen. So on this page I had an old vintage photograph, and because I had the little scraps of lace, I thought that I could use the little photograph, again using the tiny attacher to sort of put the corners in. I've torn around the edges so it's sort of at a jaunty angle. Because I had the piece of some bits of the photograph still there, I tried them on the other pages. So again, that's sort of where things were coming from. You know, try it on one page, see what happens, put it onto another page. This artist trading card I'm working on at the moment probably caused me the most issues. I just couldn't quite get it to work. I really ended up liking the free rule one because I just went really abstract with it and left it with the mic making on it, and I really liked how it turned out with that big splodge of neon colour on it and just working. So I think one of the reasons why I was struggling with this artist trading card that I've got at the moment was because it was so linear. The rest of them were kind of open, but I kind of boxed this one in a little bit with those two large stripes on it, and it just wasn't working for me. So I was looking at the other ones up the top thinking, oh, how can I finish that off? And after looking at the free wool one, I went back to the one with the butterfly wings on it and decided that just needed a little bit more black on it. And I'm really glad I went back and did that because it just finished it off. So having sort of the things sitting around you as you're working really works. I find also that if I've got a few projects on the go, if I'm getting really frustrated with one, I can go off to another one. I go back to one I've been working on and go, well, what do I need to do to finish that off? Just so it takes the pressure off what I'm working on at the moment. So I found some words again in the newspaper that I'm sort of playing around with, seeing if they work or they don't work. On this one I have some old haberdashery lace that I'm going to cut out and stick on. Oh no, I found my window, so I did the church window. So this is a collage piece by Dina Wakely, one of her collage tissues, so I'm just gluing that down on the page. One of the good things about collage tissues is you can see underneath to what's happening in the background, and it sort of allows you that translucency that you can see through, or transparency that you can see through. So with that page, I've got some of these Tim Holtz photo booth photos that I thought I would add onto the page. And again, I'm just tearing it up. I really like torn images on my page. I don't like having harsh lines. I'm going in with some sandpaper as well, just to really distress the page and make it look a little bit more worn in, and sticking that down, and the word Derby as well. So she's off to the Derby, who knows where. Not sure if it's finished or not, but that's where we're going with it at the moment. With this one, I had the word special, I think special representation. Going back in with some mark making because I couldn't think of anything else to do, and I just wanted to keep my hand busy because I wasn't sure what was going on. Then I got these clipping stickers from, again, they're from Tim Holtz, and I thought I'd put those on. And again, it kind of fits in with the shape of the artist trading card as is, but it was very, very boxy. It just didn't quite work together. But it's what I came up with at the time. So I had the 6 of them there finished, and that's how they came up. I really enjoyed the process. It didn't take all that long. It seemed like it did, but it really didn't. And working together in that collaborative way helped pull it all together. So I hope you had fun watching this, and I hope it inspires you to have a go at making some of your own artist trading cards in an abstract style. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.